All right, call the meeting to order. Commissioner Jenner, will you lead us to the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Next on the agenda, approve the agenda. Move. Motion by Dinger, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comment. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda? Online, on the phone? Seeing none, we will move on. Next up, Dennis Jones discussed the Home Arts Building at the fairgrounds. I have not seen Mr. Jones come in yet. Is he out there? Okay. Well,
And if he's not, then we will all the time anyway.
sure,
All these folks are here.
sure.
Okay. We had come with the intent to just talk a little bit more, I thought was on the agenda, so I invited the Fair Board. They did have a meeting yesterday wrapping up the Fair Week. And kudos to all these guys, if you guys made it out to the fair. So real quick, I'll just go around, I'm gonna have you introduce yourselves and how long you guys have been on the fair.
Katie Kroger, first year. Enjoying all of it though.
Good. Kevin Heinrich, first year.
Alex Shelton, second year.
Char Ackerman, not on the board, just a very concerned person.
Rhonda Retzlaff, 4 years.
Donald Bergard, on and off the board since 2007.
Jen Rodriguez, I'm a fair and 4-H intern. I was involved with Junior Fair Board for 2 years.
Nancy Radke, president of the board, 6 years.
I'm Misty Dash, fair and 4-H administrative assistant, first year.
Oh, Greg Markley was on the board for 8 years, currently on the Fair Foundation.
Pearl Holt, volunteer, Care Foundation.
Jeff Gipley, 6 years.
And I think there's some online too. I don't know if you guys want to give a shout out, some of our board members there as well. I see Vicki Stangy
Trevor Mines.
and Trevor.
Trevor, Joe, and Chris.
At any rate, 15 years ago when we started talking about having a 4-H building out there, a sole building that was truly for the 4-Hers, it died real quick because all the parties couldn't agree on the location of where we should put it. Fast forward to 4 years ago when Becca and I think Christy Erickson and some went and started visiting some of the other 4-H buildings that were in adjacent and near counties that are near us. At that point, we realized you got to figure out where you're going to put it. That's one of the initial things. And that Home Arts Building location is key. Those 4-Hers need to know that they come first. It's truly that it is achievement days and that we put a priority on that. So with that being said, the Fair Board did meet. Maybe I'll kick it over to Nancy to talk about our meeting we had yesterday and the recommendation that was made. Nancy is our president of the board.
We need the building. The building's falling apart. I have no idea how he came up with the prices he had. Any normal carpenter, construction worker would go in there and would say it's shot. We had to worry about quilts getting wet from the rain. It's not safe anymore, and we just need to go, and we need to have a place for the 4-H kids. These kids haven't had a great place all the while I have been in 4-H. They've had old buildings, they've had old stuff. They need something. They need something new. I mean, I've been in 4-H out there with my kids and grandkids for 40 years. 4 years ago I started with them. They need something. We need to do something for this 4-H community. We're losing 4-H people. We're losing families. And I think if we had that building, the new building, all the possibilities that we could do with that building. I mean, to bring in revenue, to bring in everything. As far as I'm concerned, it's a need, and it's a big, big need.
So at yesterday's board meeting, they did make a motion, pass it unanimously to ask you guys to.
Yep. So we made a motion to ask you guys to please consider Given us a new building, letting us allow to have it.
And demoing it yet this fall, so that we can make plans and prep it. If we don't get it done, we do have backup solutions. We could put additional competitive exhibits into the Odie Arena and limit the vendors for a year or two if we had to do that. There's some options with tents, so we aren't afraid for you guys to demo that building as you see fit, because we'll be ready.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead.
I'm chair of the Home Arts Building, and I spoke with my son, who is a construction worker, and he said, and I told him the problems with the building, told him that the foundation is falling in, the roof is in much need of repair, and he said, I asked him if it would be feasible to fix it, and he said no. He says with the foundation falling, there's no recommendation to fix it. So, and he's been in construction for over 18 years.
Okay, anyone else wish to comment?
It's just that the 4-H kids have never had a place to come to the fairgrounds to meet. I remember 60-some years ago, we were meeting in the basement of the USA for, you know, our club meetings. They have no place to meet, to assemble at the fairgrounds.
Sure.
Yes. I've been in that building quite a few years, working with the Fair Board, and they work so hard. We try to make it look nice, and everybody comes in and says, well, this building's so beautiful. And I said, well, there's a reason why we have all these quilts hung up along the walls, so you don't have to have to see what they look like. And just, you know, just the issues that we have, and definitely for our 4-H kids. It's just ridiculous that they have to clean Dad's shop in order to have a meeting or do their practices and things. So there's really great support for the 4-H community, but there's also support for the community using the building. You know, being allowed to rent it out to other organizations that want to have conferences or conventions or reunions or big meetings, whatever. We're at a shortage for that kind of facility, and that's where we could, you know, go beyond the 4-H, which I love 4-H. I was a 4-H'er. My kids were, my grandkids are, and that would definitely be our first need, but to be able to open it up to the community in a way that they can use it, and it's just something that I really think we need right now. I had a construction gentleman who built and remodeled homes at supper with us last night, and he said he walked around the building during the fair. He hadn't done that for quite a while. He said, that's got to go. He said, there is no way you can lift that and keep it in one piece. And you've got to do that in order to build a good foundation for it. And he, you know, his kids are out of 4-H now, so it's, you know, it isn't, but it's still very, very important to him because he doesn't like the structure itself because it's just not stable.
Right. Okay, anyone else? I know in my time, Rachel made reference to it, we've had county meetings like in Millbank, and they've got a new, you know, modern building, multi-use, year-round, you know, climate controlled. We've had meetings in Siston, and their fairgrounds also have a really nice facility. I haven't been to it, but I understand Spink County has a building that's similar and serves the community well. And it's time for Brown County to have one. You know, our kids deserve it, and the community deserves it. So it would really, literally be the only building on the fairgrounds that would be a multi-use, year-round building that's climate-controlled, both heated and cooled, that could accommodate a decent number of people. And it's long overdue, and I think this commission is solidly behind, you know, making that happen, you know, with the commitment we've made with financial help so far. I hope that once we make the decision of what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, that people realize that we are serious, and that may help our fundraising efforts. They'll see that, yeah, this really is going to happen, and now it's time to put up or shut up, you know. We need to help this project. And I know the highway department has already said that they would be willing to demo it and haul it away, and that in and of itself would save the county a considerable amount of money. You know, we would have to reimburse the highway department, but it's easier to pay ourselves than some contractors. So I still haven't seen Mr. Jones here. We all know and very familiar with what his position is. It has a lot of historic value and honors women, you know, when they were given the right to vote in 1919 or 1920, and we're not discounting any of that. And that, I mean, that is an important part of our history. But I think the reference was also made that of the 3 buildings that he knew of that were kind of in recognition of women's rights and women's, freedoms and so on, this is the only one that's left. So there's a reason the other 2 went away. I don't know what that was one of the questions I was gonna ask him this morning. Why did the other 2 go away? Did they just outlive their usefulness like ours has? But at any rate, it's time for that building to go away, and we need to concentrate as a community on raising enough money to get a new one built. And one of the first things we need to do as a commission is to declare that building surplus. So if we can make everything work, I would say we put that on the agenda next week to declare it surplus, if everyone's in agreement.
Motion for that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to put it on for surplus property next week.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gage, second by Dinger, to put it on the agenda for next week to declare the women's building, or whatever it's referred to now as the women's building, as surplus, and then move forward with however we want to handle it. And quite honestly, we would be open to, once it's declared surplus, if somebody wanted to come in and give us $1 and they wanted to move it off the fairgrounds or do with it what they wanted, we would be open to that. We're not, we're not discounting any offers or any options, but we know that that space has to be cleared for a new 4-H multi-purpose building. So, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. It'll be on the agenda next Tuesday to declare that building surplus and then move forward with getting it tore down depending on the schedule of the highway department and when they're able to do that. So, get your stuff out of it. Anybody have any questions, any additional comments? We appreciate you all taking time out of your day to come in and show support for the building. We all feel it's a critical need project as well, and look forward to working with all of you. And a couple of years from now, or even maybe next year, we can all be standing in a new building enjoying it. So,
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll move on to Richmond Dam updates. Scott Mines texted me a few minutes ago that everything is status quo at Richmond Lake. That project is moving along on schedule with no updates to speak of. So, unless Dirk, do you have anything at all that you've heard? He's gone. I have nothing else unless anybody else has heard or talked to anyone, so.
Did you look and see if, Journey had an update on their website, or do we?
I have not, Tyler.
8/6 was the last one.
Okay.
So, I think you read that one.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will move on then. First reading of the following ordinance, Ordinance 332, rezone for Michael and Carolyn Summers.
Ordinance 332 and ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County ordinance as amended to rezone certain prescribed property filed by petitioner Michael and Carolyn Summers to go from Ag Preservation District to Mini Ag District.
All right, is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 332? This is first reading. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Dennard, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. With that, count. Oh. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning.
We can take a break. We're moving through the agenda. We've already had the hearing that was scheduled, but we'll give you the opportunity to speak if you'd like.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to start now?
Yeah, we've already had the
Oh,
hearing that
okay.
was scheduled, so.
I'll move up here a second. Well,
Do you guys want to come back in while we discuss kind of, or I don't know if they all left or not?
oh, yeah.
They were all here for the discussion, but I don't know, some of them left now.
Okay,
So,
I was a little
told to come until about now, I think.
8:45. 8:45 is when we started. You were the first on the agenda, but go ahead.
I think I was told later. Well, you know why I'm here today. And, yesterday, I could have had a lot of people here today, but we put our collective thoughts together yesterday. And it's very important because 90% of the people want to preserve the building, the women's building, and they feel it should be returned back to the women's building. We have no problem with a 4-H building. You know, that's great. What we're doing is trying to preserve the past. And I want to bring out something that I think is very important. The people that we get that supply us with our electricity had an article this month about preserving the past and how important it is. Now, this woman's building could have a statue in front of it, but, you know, it's went through 2 or 3 name changes and sort of lost its identity. Its original identity was the woman's building that was built by the Tri-State Fair in 1921, and right after the women gained the right to vote, which was considered the 3rd greatest act in the history of the world, because the whole world was watching that, and it had an effect all over the world. And that's what that building stands for. And it might be the last one standing in the United States that was built for that reason. That's what's important. That building's got history, you know, and make it no mistake, the group that helped me in this endeavor, none of them have a problem. We support building a new 4-H building, but that's not exactly preserving the past, which is important. It's probably some of the most important things that our young people, that we preserve for our young people in this country. The Aberdeen, you know, we've got a fair out there. This building could house all kinds of black and white pictures of 4-H from the past. I live in an old 3-story house that's older than this building. My 4-H book is up on the 3rd floor yet, but I could remember looking at it a few years ago. And the heifer I showed that day was not the size of the ones that we have today. There's a big difference there. But anyway, if I could, bear with me, I'd like to read this for the sake of time. When our county leaders built the women's building in 1920, it wasn't an afterthought. It was a proud, tangible monument. It said to our mothers, wives, and daughters, your labor built these farms, your sacrifices sustained this country through war, and your vote matters. Tearing down that monument tells our grandchildren that the physical symbols of those hard-won rights are only worth keeping until the plumbing gets old. The people that helped me in this endeavor, this is their collective thoughts. Our forebears built with character because they believed in the future of Brown County. They believed in the future. they didn't put up throwaway structures. When we look at a building from the 1920s, we're looking at the actual work of human hands from a generation that survived hard times by building things to last. Replacing a handcrafted century-old landmark with a corrugated steel shell teaches the next generation to settle for the quick fix rather than the lasting quality. And I'll continue with this one. We all support 4-H, but what lesson are we teaching our 4-H youth if we tear down our history and build their hall? 4-H teaches kids to respect tradition, to build with their hands, and pledge with their hearts to the community. Pitting 4-H against the historic women's building is a false choice. The best lesson we can teach our youth is how to take an old honorable building, roll up our sleeve, and restore it to make it functional for the next 100 years. You know, this building can go on for a long, long time. History isn't just something in a textbook that we read about once and put away. It is the soil we stand on. We demolished the women's building. In 20 years, no one will remember what stood there. It will just be another metal shed in a row of metal sheds. But if we restore it, every child who walks through those doors during the Brown County Fair will know that this county honors its past, respects its founders, and builds for the long haul. I ask the commission to pass the test of good stewardship. Pause the demolition of it. Look into adaptive restoration and teach Brown County that our heritage is not for sale, and it is certainly not disposable. Now, having said this, I looked over and your names are all on this sheet of paper, and it's the responsibility of a commissioner. And it says in there, county commissioners are responsible for the care and preservation of all county property. That's so. Preservation is a big part of your commission duties. And that's why and I noticed a person brought this to me at the fair and said, in this ad of your new building, which is fine, but it doesn't have anything to do with preservation. And it says right here, however, this preservation and modernization of the fairgrounds only happens widespread taxpayer support and community partnership. You know, so I think the discussion of this building needs to have Aberdeen included in it, because I don't think we can imagine what that building and attraction will be if it's as rare as we think it is to even foreign visitors. It amazes me when I go to Mount Rushmore, maybe once every 6-7 years, and I see all the foreign visitors there that are visiting there. And we would take it a step further and honor the top 15 greatest woman leaders in the world and their accomplishments, the big difference of what they brought to this world, it would be a little bit similar to maybe Mount Rushmore. I think it will, if we use our imagination and treat history and teach the past, it's unbelievable. It's when you read about the top 15 women in this world and their accomplishments, they come from all over. I think there's one from the United States. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know if it's the top, but there's another one that's close there. But this historic building is probably the most important building we have in Brown County, as far as what it has meant to the rest of the country. It was built, and it's our responsibility and the collective thoughts of our group. We could have a lot of people here today, but we decided, let's put our thoughts together and present it. And I have done that now, and I ask for your input on this.
We did have a hearing earlier before you got here. Would any of the people that were here earlier care to comment again for Mr. Jones' benefit? Go ahead, Jeff.
Denny, I don't disagree with your thoughts, except for this. We are on a very tight budget in the county. We already have roads that don't get fixed, bridges that get put off 3-4 years past when they should be. Our county fair is run on a shoestring budget. These gentlemen and ladies around this room here all give generously of their time and their finances.
Absolutely.
To make the fair what it is.
Yeah.
What you're asking is probably $1 million just to get it up into a place that would be sustainable for 10 years, not 100. The time that this should have been done was 40 years ago. No fault of anybody, but it wasn't. Okay, so we've ran its course at least minimum 30 years past when we should have been focused on this. And now it's going to be too cost prohibitive to do something like this. And to compare it to Mount Rushmore, you don't have to explain to people the importance of Mount Rushmore. This, I think you're going to have to put a campaign out there to tell people what the importance of this building is to get people to come visit. So, I love your pipe dream, but let's get back to finances and dollars and cents of today. It would be irresponsible for this commission to go down that road with county funds and try to become a tourist attraction beyond what our fair is. Now, this building that we are looking at in the immediate future for the fair would be huge. It would be the one place that would have air conditioning in which we could actually allow fairgoers to cool off for an hour during the day. We could move the 4-H concession stand inside of this, giving it an upper hand over all the other concession stands, that it would have seating with air conditioning. You talked about the benefit for 4-H with this building. It's astronomical. And to put that same money into a building that is falling apart, decayed, and you still have a building that's old and not offering those same benefits to our fairgoers. I don't see where it's a reasonable expectation at this time. If you would have been here 25, 30 years ago, Danny, I think it would have made sense. I really do. But I think we've just gone too far with that roof leaking as many years as it has. I can't imagine, I don't think anybody's went up there and looked at those rafters, but I can't imagine those rafters are in good shape today.
Okay, I need a rebuttal on just part of what you said.
Absolutely.
I've had 4 different contractors look at it, and it's not going to cost that much money to preserve this building. It doesn't need modernization. It's an old building. And we're talking just preserving it. And their cost that they came off with us, not even close to $1 million. They were talking like you could start with 50,000. Do you realize it could cost 100,000 to tear this building down and haul it out? You know, that money could go a long ways towards preserving this.
Denny, on a new roof on a house, we work with a lot of insurance companies with Farmers Union. A new roof of a house is $30,000 today.
Yeah.
That's a new roof. So $50,000, that doesn't fix the roof. That doesn't fix the roof, Denny. So your $50,000 starting number, that's a great contractor's trick of saying, hey, I can get in here and get this done cheap. Oh, by the way, we found this and we found that. There's no way 50,000 even begins to put a Band-Aid on this building.
But the leaks, it has a couple leaks, from my understanding.
A couple?
It has a lot of.
I wish you'd have been in there at 9 o'clock on Wednesday.
But
This last Wednesday during the fair, I wish you were there at 9 o'clock.
I
And
know
ladies
people
behind you were
talk
out
to
there
it.
trying to keep the quilts
They-
from getting erect.
yeah, it wasn't bad. But they can patch that roof, and they can build a new roof. And if we involve the city of Aberdeen to help us in this endeavor, you know, I don't know, I had 3 ladies come up and tell me, what is this gonna take to save this building? Is it gonna take 164 women to come out there on demolition day and hold hands around that building? They want it saved. When 94% of the people that did this last year, that poll, 94% of the people wanted to save it. You know, it could be put, it's so important, it could be, do it the democracy way. Put it on a ballot this fall and find out. This could be put on a ballot. You want to save it. That's the only issue. We don't have an issue with the new building and the air conditioning. And the building maybe has to be boarded up, well, for a year until it is said not safe. But it's hard to have it both ways. I heard at the last meeting how unsafe it was. But we sent thousands of people through it this year. You can't have it both ways, you know.
I'll bet you I can go out and get a poll right now and I have 90% for tearing it down. It depends on where you're going with your poll.
Go ahead and do your poll then.
Okay,
Do it.
I will.
Please do it.
Go ahead, Kyle, if I may. Dennis, we have motion to put this on the agenda next week for surplus. If you would like to purchase the building, move it off of its current location, create a women's museum, that would be highly encouraged, and we appreciate your efforts.
I'm not saying I want to, I've never said that.
Well, I'm just giving you an alternate option, and I think your passion in this building is admirable, but I believe that the wishes of the Fair Board, the wishes of the Commission at this time is to build the 4-H building in that location, and I think we've made our decision. I appreciate your efforts, but I'm just providing another option for you if you would like to save that building. If you feel it's good enough shape to be moved, you can get a coalition of people together to move it to a location where it can sustain the rest of its useful life.
Well, I am
You see
working
it.
with the city of Aberdeen on it right now. I have brief discussions on it. Okay.
But it can't,
let's
but it just
remember one
cannot
thing.
stay there.
That building could be moved for less than the cost of your demolishing it.
But that's what I'm posing to you. If you feel that building has value to you or to a group of people, we are more than willing to work with you, I think, to move it in a timely manner and to accommodate our plans here today.
Well,
And
it's a
we
pretty-
both get the best of both worlds.
It's a pretty big group of people.
Good. And you need a big group, that's a
Well-
big project.
It was 94%.
Okay.
Do you want it demolished or preserve it? 94% of the people that took that poll said to preserve it.
I think Con will go there.
I don't know if you remember me, Danny, but I gave you a ride twice out at the
Yes,
fairgrounds.
yes.
The very first time I gave you a ride, I introduced myself to you, and I said I knew who you were, and you, at the end of dropping you off, you said, you probably shouldn't tell the fair board that I give you a ride.
Yeah.
And I said, the fair board has nothing against your opinion. You have your opinion, and we have our opinion, and we're there to help anyone out at the fair. We don't look at a name to help a person out. And the second time I give you a ride, you said to me specifically, I wish we could move that building off. You said, we. And I said, I'm sure you can go in and talk to the commissioners, and you will get approval to do that.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I'm here.
And that's why, and as I just said, you can move it off, but it will be a group that you put together to do it at a timely phrase, I mean.
But nothing happens overnight. It may take some time.
How much time do you need,
Together.
Dennis?
What?
How much time do you need?
I don't know yet.
You know,
Well, Dennis, earlier, the commission made a motion, next Tuesday it will be on our agenda to declare that building surplus. That, from there we move forward. If you and your group of people feel it's worth preserving, which we don't, we've made up our minds that that building needs to go away and be replaced with a new 4-H building. That's our future.
You know,
But if you and your people that you have behind you feel it's worth preserving, worth saving, you give us $1, you can haul it away if you wanna work with the city of Aberdeen. If they have a location to take it to that's not too far away, that would be great. But we would give you, after next Tuesday, the opportunity to get your people rounded up, come to us with a proposal. For $1, you can have it. But it needs to be moved, it needs to be moved quickly. We understand nothing happens overnight, but we would wanna make sure that this fall yet, you had something in place to move it and have a place to put it. And if you don't have a place to put it on blocks until you do. But that's how we're moving forward. After next Tuesday, you and your group are more than welcome to preserve that building into eternity.
You know, the biggest question I got at the fairgrounds is why did this new building, why did this building have to be demolished for the new building?
Because it's obsolete, Dennis. The
What?
foundation is falling apart. Put $100,000 new roof on an old building, what's to say that building isn't gonna collapse a year from now? It has outlived its useful life. The foundation is shot. It's not ADA compliant. The restrooms need to be updated. There's so much needed to be put into that building to make it even viable that it's cost prohibitive. It is going away. We have made up our mind, it is going away.
Well, it's
It
not.
can be going away intact if you wanna haul it away, or it'll be bulldozed and put in the pit on the east side of the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Those are the two options as of today. As of next Tuesday, it will be declared surplus. And just to reference your poll, in the last year, since we've been talking about this and started trying to raise money for the new 4-H building, I've heard from 3 people that want to preserve this building. You, Senator Hunstead, and Mr. Oakes. Those are the 3 people that I've heard from that want to preserve this building. Unanimously, far and above, I've had more people say, we need a new, modern, up-to-date building for the kids of this community to enjoy. And that's what we use to make our decision. Our decision has been made, so now I put it in your hands to go talk to your people, those people that you've polled and have they have your support, or you have their support. Come to us with a proposal and the building is yours. It can live forever somewhere else, but it will not sit there. And we will put a time on it where it has to be moved, and we will also put a time on it after next Tuesday of when we send the highway department out to bulldoze it down. That's our final decision.
Okay. So, in your responsibilities here, it says preservation.
And it is beyond even trying to preserve.
That's not what contractors that I've had.
We disagree.
So.
It's going away, and we're doing our job, getting rid of an obsolete building.
I got a list of contractors that are in the business.
Okay?
And know it.
That's your opinion, Dennis, and it's not ours.
And also to add on to that too, then, 50,000 has been thrown out. I think that's way under what the actual cost would be. I think you're talking closer probably to $1 million than 50,000. So the 4-H building is needed. 4-H numbers unfortunately went down some. I think this building is gonna do a lot, the 4-H building would help a lot to raise those numbers back up. We need a place for different 4-H events. 4-H would now have a home. 4-H is homeless in Brown County without a home on the fairgrounds. This would give it a home. It would give kids an opportunity to use that building for different activities. So the building needs to happen, and I think all or most of us could agree with that. But asking the county to spend millions of dollars on a new building, and in addition, millions of dollars to preserve a building, there's no way that we're gonna be able to do option A and option B at the same time. The building is the priority for me. So I want the new 4-H building built, but I don't know how we're supposed to build a building and preserve another building, both of those into 7 figures, most likely, in terms of total cost.
Who is going to tear the building down?
Brown County Highway Department.
Brown County Highway Department, okay?
They have the equipment and the necessary
That'll
means.
be passed on to the taxpayers.
It'll come out of the county budget, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Dirk, do you have an approximate number that you gave us?
The last one we took down that was across the street from it's probably a quarter of the size, and that one was $8,000 to take that down. Took us 1 day. I would guess this probably take 2 or 3 days, but there's nothing tricky to this. I mean, as far as I don't ever remember taking something down, even the stuff we weren't supposed to take down before, but
We'll make sure we mark it.
yeah, put a big X on it. But usually your second day you're wrapping it up. So I would guess that's going to be like 40,000 probably. That might even be a little high. So,
Okay.
That's hauling it out too?
Yep. We don't have to haul it too far.
It's 4 guys, 2 machines, and 2 trucks, I'm sure.
Yeah, something like that.
So there is a cost, but it's almost certainly underneath even the minimum number of 50,000 that was mentioned before. Almost certainly under the cheapest number that's
There's a
been
lot
brought
of
up.
buildings like that are in the country now that they're using paint to cover the asbestos that's in it. And it's got inspection. That building is gonna be one hell of a cost. It could be $500,000.
To do what?
Tear it down and haul it out.
You just heard him. You just heard him, within 2 to 3 days, it's gonna be gone. For a cost of approximately 40,000 or less.
I don't know, have you checked into the rules and regs on that?
As far as,
If it's got asbestos in it.
I'm not aware that it
Well, if it
does.
does, it probably needs to be torn down.
It's a whole new ballgame.
Because if it has asbestos, it probably does need to be removed no matter what.
No, because they've got paint. The problem with asbestos, if you don't disturb it, it's fine. And they've got paint that covers it now and protects that. That's why you're seeing.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna tear it down, haul it over to the pit, and cover it with dirt, so everything will be covered. Problem solved.
We have a
The asbestos will
landfill,
be buried.
we have a landfill supervisor that can advise us on that kind of stuff.
Well, you need to be advised a little bit on it, on the asbestos part.
All right, but our decision has been made, Dennis. It is going away.
Okay.
So you can rally your troops. If you want to come in next Tuesday and make us an offer, you're more than welcome to do that.
Well, I'll work with the city of Aberdeen.
Yep.
I wanted to tell you that.
Yep.
And, but this deal doesn't happen just overnight.
You're absolutely right, but for us, it's happening next week. That's when we're making our decision, so you've got a week to rally your troops. And then give us a proposal and a timeline of when you want to haul it away, if that's what you want to do.
Have you put a time on this when it's proposed?
We're dealing with it next Tuesday. When we declare it surplus, we will put together a schedule of when it will be demolished or hauled away.
Okay.
It'll be this fall yet. It will be this fall.
So, why don't we count on that, maybe we can have a discussion with Aberdeen.
You're more than welcome to have a conversation with Aberdeen.
Because, preservation isn't on your agenda.
We're preserving the land that we own, and that building being there is not preserving that land properly.
Oh, it hasn't.
In our opinion, it's beyond,
Yeah.
it's beyond preservation. It is beyond preservation. It's outlived its useful life.
Well.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, the one thing we are doing in the spirit of keeping that idea alive, and this is where I think at some point, what it was built for has to be separated from the structure that was there. We've got a scale model that's gonna be out there during the fair. It normally is housed at the museum where people can view it, but there's a scale model of that building. There's gonna be a nice write-up of, you know, everything that happened and why that building was built at that time. And that will be displayed at the fair somewhere in the new 4-H building, so people will still have the history of what was and what happened at that time. But the tearing of the building down in no way reflects our feelings towards women's right to vote or anything like that. And just as a quick side note, I'd like to let you know that between the fair board and the fair office, we're above a 50% level in females that work there. All women that have probably voted or at least have the right to are making this decision and saying, hey, just because we're going to do this with that building doesn't mean that's an attack on women, that we are taking away something of their, you know, of a right they got through history. We're going to try to preserve that idea. The problem is the building that's attached to that is in no way being able to be preserved. I think you're going to have a hard time lifting that thing to move it, because that's what's going to have to happen just to repair the foundation. And if the foundation's bad, what are you doing on the top? You're going to start at the bottom and build up. So if you're going to try to rebuild, and that's the thought with the steel building. I know everybody's got a steel building, but if you look around the country, every farm is building a steel building too. So what are all if you're going to say that, what are we telling every farmer that builds a steel shop? What are you teaching your kids? I mean, we could go back to, you know, the one-room shop house and work outside in the gravel too, but I mean, things change at times. So we're trying to incorporate with that design some of the architecture, or whatever you want to say, to give kind of a nod to the building that was there. I mean, you're not going to build the building was there, obviously, but that's what the materials that are available to us at this time is going to be a steel structure. But it's going to, I mean, I'll take shooting sports, for example. I don't think have ever had a home in Brown County. I mean, the shooting sports, your BB guns and archery and stuff that the 4-H kids do, they've never had a home in Brown County, and now they would. I mean, this is a whole segment of kids and that's actually something that's in 4-H that has become more and more popular. There's more kids getting involved in that. They would like a spot to do that. And in my opinion, yes, where the women's buildings sit is a central location at the fair. That's why I think it's the ideal place for a 4-H building, because I know that the concerts are big, and you know, the fun that's had at the Centennial and the beer gardens and everything, or the clubhouse, excuse me, is great, but still the fair should 100% first and foremost be about the 4-H kids and and the open class stuff and everything, showing off what they've done and accomplished over the year with their animals, with their, sewing and quilting, food that they've made, and everything like that. That centerpiece there, I think, would be great on that. But as far as the preservation of the idea of it, we're not just gonna throw it away and nobody's ever gonna know it existed. It's still gonna have the scale model with the write-up and everything in that building. In air conditioning, where I guarantee we'll have a lot of visitors just because of the air conditioning, and we'll probably see that building. And I would almost bet more people will read about that building there because it's in air conditioning than actually see that thing right now. I was through there quite a few different times throughout this week. There are people in there, but it's not, at any given time, you can go into the expo building and see 10 times more people in there. You put air conditioning in any building out there, that is the central attraction at that point on a hot day at the fair, by far. So I think the word as far as what that was, because to be honest, until you came in, when you first came in however many weeks ago, I did not know that was why it was called the Women's Building. I know there's quite a few people I've talked to that did not know that that was the history of that. So having just a plaque or something out there is gonna at least, get the history out there. So, if nothing else, I do appreciate you bringing that up. So at least we're educated on that and we know what we need to have.
I had 2 retired 4-H leaders come and talk to me about this. And they said, 4-H isn't about shooting BB guns or bow and arrows. They're trying to bring in something to try and make 4-H grow, because it's been shrinking. It's a trend that's going backwards. And we all know that. And they said it's a mistake. It would be more, this is our suggestion, have the 4-H try and help preserve this building, working with a couple contractors, have the 4-H kids really teach them how to do something. But 4-H is not about shooting arrows and BB guns. It's about growing things. This is what they reminded me of. That's what 4-H is about, is growing things. Growing plants, growing animals. It's not about that. We could probably create a lot of things in this country that maybe 4-H could do that has nothing to do with 4-H. That's your problem.
So 4-H can never evolve?
And erecting a building does not bring 4-H back.
I think 4-H has evolved into the stuff that kids are into at this point in time.
So,
tell me.
The robotics and stuff that they do and everything, I know we're not here 100 years ago. Neither were cell phones and everything like that. I get that, but...
That's not what 4-H people have
No, it's about building leaders of tomorrow is what it's actually about. It doesn't matter if you can raise a cow. Maybe you don't have the ability to do that. That's why you can take pictures. They weren't doing that, for the entire time of 4-H either.
But shooting bow and arrows and BB guns inside an air-conditioned building is not what 4-H is about.
I'm not saying it's the purpose.
It's
just, it was one segment of the 4-H group that does not have a home. We could talk maybe just about all the groups and where they could meet and have a spot to meet and have their, the cooking classes and things of that nature in an area. And have somewhere that more than one 4-H club could get together and have joint meetings when they're doing something and have somebody come in. They don't have a spot for that. They're meeting in wherever they can get, so that would be another example, I guess.
I was surprised these 4-H leaders came and talked to me about this, and they were serious about it.
I find it interesting that they would come and talk to you when we're the decision makers. Maybe we're the ones that they should be coming and talk to.
Can we get
And I've
their names?
heard from no one. Has anybody else?
No.
So they're talking to the wrong people, Dennis. We're the ones that make the decision. So send them to us.
You know what they said?
I give up.
You guys have made up your mind a long time ago. That's what they said. That's where they're not talking to you. It's that simple.
I think the fact that we're having
Anyway, I
another
will
hearing
talk
today,
to the
I
city.
think that the fact that we're having another hearing on this today shows that our minds are still open to options, but we feel this is the best option. So, based on the amount of money we have to spend, like Drew said, we can't do both. So, I would love to see your group come up with a plan to move that building to a place that the city offers you to haul it to, and make it part of history, let it become a tourist destination. That would be awesome, and I hope it works out for you.
Well, I'll visit with the city and see what their interest is. We've done a little of that now already, but, and we'll be back next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming in, Dennis. We appreciate your passion and your continued work on this, so.
Well, it's history. We can't wipe out history. Read this, will ya? What Northern Electric put out? Read it. It's about preserving the past. You know, it was important to Northern Electric. It's important to the...
But they're building a new building, Dennis.
What?
But they're building a new building.
That's right. But, and it's important to the past here of the Brown County History Museum. It's, you know, we could try and erase history all we want. And we need to know which way we're going, and we need to know what history is all about. I'll catch you later.
Thank you, Dennis. All right, we'll get back to our agenda. Next up, ordinance 333, rezone for Wayne and Janine Haas.
Ordinance 333, an ordinance amending Title IV, Second Revision, Brown County Ordinance as amended, to rezone certain square property filed by petitioner Wayne and Janine Haas to go from Egg Preservation District to Mini Egg District.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 333? Being none, I would entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Dinger. Second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 331, imposing a county gross receipts tax and a use tax for Brown County, South Dakota. As you all know and have heard, this is in response to Senate Bill 96, passing this last year in the legislative session, giving the counties the option of imposing a half-cent gross receipts tax, which would offset the county's share of property taxes on owner-occupied properties. There's still some questions on who it would benefit and who it wouldn't, and the degree of benefits and those type of things. We're continuing to work with the Department of Revenue on getting those answers. The forum was held this last Saturday on the fairgrounds with a panel that offered answers to questions and how the implementation would take place and what it would look like. Commissioner Gage and Auditor Heupel and Gene Lepsky, Director of Equalization, were part of that panel. And I was gone, but I understand it went very well. Some good questions were asked and answered. We as a commission feel that we want to take advantage of the option of passing this ordinance and giving the voters the right to decide whether they want to implement that. So it will be on the way the ordinance is written, and I'll turn it over to Lynn, but we want the voters of Brown County to decide whether this tax is imposed or not, because we think it's too important of an issue. Rather than let the five of us decide, we want the voters to decide if it's beneficial to the majority. So I'll turn it over to Lynn.
Okay, proposed ordinance 331, the purpose of it, ordinance imposing a gross receipts tax and a use tax for Brown County, providing additional revenue for Brown County, South Dakota by imposing a county gross receipts tax pursuant to the powers granted to the county by the state of South Dakota by South Dakota Codified Law 10-45, 46, 52B, entitled Uniform County Non-Ad Valorem Tax Law and Acts Mandatory Thereto. The purpose of the county gross receipts tax is to provide property tax relief on the county property tax levy for all property classified as owner-occupied. All monies collected by the county from the gross receipt tax must be deposited into a property tax reduction fund, which is hereby created. From and after the first day of January 2027, a 0.5% on the gross receipts of all persons engaged in business with the jurisdiction of Brown County, South Dakota, who are subject to the South Dakota Retail Occupational Sales and Service Tax, South Dakota Codified Law 10-45, at the same rate upon all transactions of use, storage, and consumption which are subject to South Dakota Codified Law 10-46 and acts mandatory thereto. The Board of County Commissioners chooses to refer this to a vote of the people in the general election on November 3rd, 2026.
Any questions, comments on what we're going to be doing here? This is second reading and possible adoption, so if this goes into place, it will be on the November 3rd ballot for the voters to decide.
I'll make a comment.
Okay.
So, I'm not gonna speak in favor or in opposition to the idea or the concept. I will speak in favor of it going to the voters. I think in the last few years, you've seen a large outcry from the public that something needs to be done on property taxes, to see property taxes reduce, especially on owner-occupied dwellings, but also across the board, but especially on owner-occupied dwellings. So I think us putting this to a vote of the people is the responsible choice today. It gives people an opportunity to read it, to look at it, to familiarize themselves with what it does not do, and then make a decision on whether it's right for this county or not. I think there could be a discussion as to whether this is the right plan to move forward with, or maybe we want to wait and go with something else in the future, if or when that becomes available. That being said, this does have an opportunity to fairly significantly reduce property taxes on the owner-occupied dwellings, and I think it rises to the level where voters should have that ultimate decision in November. So I'll be supporting the motion today and looking forward to whatever the voters decide come November and moving forward.
Good. Thank you, Drew. Any other comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Approve.
Motion by Gage, second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, next up, amend Resolution 2026-06, vote center locations.
We want to replace Best Western Mankato Hotel and Convention Center with Primrose Gym going forward. That's the only amendment that we are making.
Just replacing an existing vote center with another one.
Motion.
Okay. Motion by Dinger, second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, Dirk Rogers, right-of-way for Northern Electric and a department update. Good morning, Dirk.
Howdy.
Morning.
First one is for Northern Electric. It's electrical underground. Runs from North Dakota, east of Magnolia Street, which is the east one that goes in, the east one that goes into the, what is that called? Northview subdivision, or Northwood, is that what that's called?
I thought you were gonna say North Dakota, the
county
street. That's a heck of a project.
So, but yeah, it's just K&H is gonna do it, and it's for Northern Electric, and I would recommend it for...
Move. Motion by Tanner.
Second.
Second by Dinger to approve the Northern Electric right-of-way application. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Well, we got done paving the other day, up on 9, so that's done. We're gonna start chips sealing, probably won't be till next week, but we're gonna chip seal like what we paved, all at 9 actually, even what we didn't pave. That thing on south end of 14. And I think we got some up by Hecla we're doing too. Our chip sealing has kind of moved away from being a program because we've been doing more micro. So we're it's kind of like when there's no money left for micro, we'll do chip sealing. And
The city picked up where you left off.
yeah,
We're doing a lot.
So we're easing into that. I think all of our paving's done. It doesn't mean that something blows up or comes up, but the stuff we're doing, bituminous is still coming in the next couple of weeks to do 14 from the airport down to the Warner Road, and then
You expect that to be maybe the very beginning of September or something like that?
and it might be during harvest, but it's not the first time that's happened.
Should be able to beat most of it, by September. Looks like maybe a normal to later harvest, if anything, so might have a little extra time.
The weird years are when the beans in the corn are on top of each other. It's a little nicer when they stagger. Everybody gets an order like you're supposed to, but yeah, that stuff's going good. Like today, we're patching, we're working on the Crow Creek berm up there. And one good thing about the spillway project is we are getting some concrete out of the deal that we can recycle. We use riprap and gravel, but Mike's working with us, so we're stockpiling out at the landfill right now. There's a stockpile of concrete coming off the spillway project, and then we'll use it for something eventually. Cold in place job got moved back to next Monday, so 8/24, the 24th will start, and that's from Bath Corner, 6 miles south.
16.
Yep. And next week, don't worry about it, Lynn, somebody will call you, but we're gonna set bid dates for Bridge 350, which is that one in north and west out there. And then also, I haven't talked too much about...
That's the most important one in the county.
Most important bridge in the county. The minute that thing went closed, about 4 farming operations about went under. Big giant ones too up there, Drew. The Erickson approach, I haven't talked about that too much, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's on Road 16 south of Bath. And I don't know, where Mark Erickson's up on the hill and Greg's on the other side of the street. Well, I had to go back and look, and it's one of those things that was a great idea at the time, but we're left dealing with it now. They took an oxbow out down there. That oxbow isn't connected up to the river, and they got permission, so there's a drainage easement along there, and there's been 2, they're like 8 by 10 foot, what were called electroplate culverts in there. They're pretty old. And it was made, 1 foot wider than it needed to be. Well, we ended up with a precast box culvert that we bought for a different location that we decided not to use it there. So we're gonna put that in on this approach. And you see it more in Minnesota with their drainage canals. You see a lot of them where they have little bridges right beside the road, and it's basically approach going to the farm. We only have 1 or 2 of those. Almost all of ours are just normal culverts, going into approaches. That's one exception. I mean, the pipe alone now are like frickin' $180,000 to buy the exact, those kind of electroplate pipes. So we're gonna put that box in there, and they don't want any side rails on it or anything, just so they can drag all their stuff through there. And it's literally just for harvest, but that's one of those things that was a great idea back when it cost $4,000 to put it in there, and now we're back putting it in later, and we're gonna have to make it into a project. So those are 2 things that next week will be coming, and those are gonna be separate projects, but one will be for that Bridge 350, and then the other one's for the Erickson approach. Just, the Crow Creek is at 127 at the gates, which obviously they're equalized, but that's 127's 10 feet down from the top, so there's not a lot of water coming into the system, which is also why we're up there working on the berm right now. So, I think that's about it, unless you guys had something specific.
Do we know when the state's gonna start on 13, they're gonna chip seal that, correct?
I think they're doing it today.
Was that them doing the shoulder work on 14?
Yeah. Yeah, everything on 14 and Prairie Wood is state. We're not, none of that is us. It's all, that's, I don't know if you've gone anywhere else, they're running the Aberdeen region chip sealing programs going on right now. So if you go south of Ipswich or down to Faulkton or run around, you're gonna run into the chip sealing. All they did with our project is it's just got stuck in there, or our project, the detour, got stuck in with the regular chip sealing. So they're just doing this, and then today they're doing this, and they'll be, if that takes them more than one day, I'd be surprised, but because it's only, what, 4, 5, 6, I mean,
Should be fairly quick.
should be just one day with them.
Because they were doing the shoulder work yesterday
Yeah.
on there.
That's, they're doing a little shoulder work, I think they already did the cracking and the patching, so.
I'm just happy it wasn't us. We might have to have a discussion about them.
Oh, yeah?
Whoever thought it was a good idea to have the stop for the northbound traffic about a block and a half north of 12, so you got vehicles stacked up on 12. Not very good forward planning.
Yeah, I stopped at I was turning left onto 14 from 6th Avenue there with a trailer and everything, and I decided to go around a gravel road. I didn't mess with that, but it was a mess.
Yeah, I think it went a little farther north, I think.
We never do that.
Are they gonna stripe it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep. No, it's
Right off the 12, they're gonna strike?
I would assume the whole thing, it's gonna meet their
I would
requirements.
assume they'd have done it 2 years ago, but
Well,
I'm just wondering if
I don't know.
that's good
No,
news. People may see where they're going now.
Yeah.
Everything there it'll be the equivalent of all that shit that they want us to do on that one, that didn't apply because ours is a county road, but on that'll be all of the state standard and stripes and, yep. And I wanna point out that we haven't spent a lot of money, and like I said, some people are going, yeah, it's pretty obvious. But I mean, the DOT has pretty much picked up the cost of maintaining 13 and those 2 miles of 14 other than the railroad crossing, so.
Sure. The Richmond detour will make up for it.
Yeah. We got a little patchy, just because if that comes up, we are aware that the west end, as we expected, is a little weak, and so we'll be running the patch crew through there. They might even get out there today. I think they're doing, we put in a culvert on North Shore somewhere in there, we replaced the culvert, and I think they're gonna be in there doing that. That's all I got. I do want to take a personal liberty and add in anyone that, and this isn't even being a smartass or anything, but if you truly are interested in history of women's suffrage, the Pickler Mansion in Faulkton, and I'm not chasing anybody down there, heck, I think she should load up a ride line bus and drive it, she being Patricia, load up a ride line bus and theme it after that and go down there and tour that, because Mrs. Pickler was huge in women's suffrage. I mean, Susan B. Anthony has been to that house multiple times, and they held all their meetings there. So that's just a side note. If someone truly is interested in the Pickler Mansion in Faulkton, that's basically the main focus of it now that they dug through all the letters and stuff are there and found out that that's what was happening there, so. Just a side note, not trying to chase anybody from Dakota Prairie Museum, but if that is something somebody's interested, there are outlets to find that information, so.
And as you travel down the road, I mean, you see a lot of times, you go past an historical marker on the side of the road. I think that'd be very appropriate, put out in front of the new building with an explanation of the women's building, and why it was built, when it was built, who it was recognizing, and that'd be a perfect landmark for out front of the new building, you know, to preserve the history of that building, you know.
And I do, as Mike said, I didn't know. It's always been the women's building, and I just figured it was some, antiquated term that's probably no longer appropriate really as to why it was the women's building, but, so there's a legitimate thing. I mean, he's brought people aware. Just like when everybody got mad about their taxes, and then everybody learned how the taxes actually worked. It was,
History makes it.
Yes. All right.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Have a beautiful day.
You as well. Good luck with everything.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next up, consent calendar. Turn it over to Lynn.
Approval of the general meeting minutes of August 11th.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Dinger. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report?
Move.
Motion by Dinger,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Dinger. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, that's
Any
right.
other business come before the Brown County Commission this morning? Had a request to go into executive session for personnel and legal and contracts.
Motion. Sorry, I forgot that part. All right, second,
Okay,
whatever.
motion by Gage, second by Dinger. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec.
I didn't even say
All right, we are out of executive session, back in session, with no action as a result. Is there anything else fun and exciting we'd like to talk about today?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Denner to adjourn, a second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We